Um, so I bought a weed whacker, and the reason why that's important is because, or the reason why I even want to bring that up. Well, first of all, let me say this: Notary Business Talk Only is a former. We did this for a year on what's the Clubhouse, and it was really good. Oh, so for the Clubhouse crew, Clubhouse was a good app and it served its purpose, but it was only audio. And for the next phase of what the Notary Business Talk Only and what the um, Golden Stamp Notary will produce, it's going to be a visual component. So it's going to be good to see that it works. So I'm outside in the front of my house and I'm watching my neighbor directly across the street, and he's got the Roundup out and he's spraying the weeds along the sidewalk, along the cracks in the sidewalk. And I know that it's funny because he's actually a landscaper, or I know that he does some landscaping, or somebody in that house does landscaping. So to see them uh, treat the weeds with the Roundup, because yeah, I guess it kills, but you know it's gonna come right back. Matter of fact, let me go look at that. I'm gonna go look to see if the weeds have come back yet, because that's what prompted me to talk about this. Oh, look at that, they're gone. I mean, they're all dead. Yeah, nice. It worked. Of course, it worked because it's called Roundup and it kills things and it's poisonous to the environment, right? Right. But here's the thing: it's a temporary solution to a really a never-ending battle, and that means that you'll have to do it again. It's not going to be permanent. When you think of solutions for how to improve your notary business, the thing is you have to have a this if a problem continues to reoccur, then that means that it will come back and it hasn't been solved. It's just a band-aid. So approaching the notary business, and when I say business, I actually mean getting your own clients, not working with signing services, not a loan signing agent or a notary signing agent. I'm talking about being a notary public business owner or notary public entrepreneur, as Tiger Toledo coined. That getting your own clients is got to be, that's really the issue in a lot of people's operation, but they have temporary solutions like putting Roundup on weeds. In a couple of months, it'll be right back. The problem will come back. So once you solve this problem, once you've figured out a solution and it's done. Now with Notary on Automation, what we've done is being able to figure out the solution. That means if you chase after every single client, if you're chasing literally, if you have to go after every single client, then you don't have a business. You have a job. You have a you have what is a service that provides a solution to somebody who needs something, right? In this case, let's say you sold a house or you bought a house and now you need to close the loan. And in order to do that, you got to get these documents stamped. Now, as a notary public, because that's really what we highly specialize in, the person who's looking for the notary, this is assigned to them by the loan company, right? Title company. Now, that has nothing to do with the customer because the customer is finding the title company or the lender, and then the lender does the job of finding the notary, and then the notary is going out and executing. Now, if the person who bought the house is reaching out directly to the notary and they're the one responsible for hiring the notary, now that's different because you as a notary have to, one, you have to attract this client, and then secondly, you have to be able to secure the client. The difference is putting my name on a listing or a directory or a database, and then some other company finding me. And here's the little secret here. They tell you what they charge, not you. So you don't come up with your own price. Therefore, you are available, and then you accept the price and on the day and the time, and then you execute based upon their terms. Now, when you have a notary business, you actually have a notary operation, that whole process is all you. That means you have to find the food and you have to kill it, and that means you are responsible for whether or not you eat. Now, in the previous example, in a notary signing agent example, the title company is actually, or the signing service, actually both. They're the ones who are determining this factor, whether or not your business is going to be prosperous or if it's not. And we find that to be true because that's exactly what we're seeing now, right? As people try to pivot and shift and change direction and try, what we're finding is that people don't want to be notaries because they don't want to be business owners, right? They want to have this title and then they want to, you know, have a shot at doing some illustrious number per month, but they realize, oh, I actually have to do work. Now, having having a business, that whole thing is eliminated, and this is what the benefits of having a notary public business. This is what it gives, especially when it's automated, because it's no longer a worry about whether or not you can get clients. Getting clients is actually the easiest part. That's because that's the lifeblood of the business. Getting the client is the easiest part. Putting your message out there and how much you want, how many clients, and how much time and capacity that you have to execute these appointments, that's really the worry there as a notary business owner. How much time are you spending in the business being a technician and executing the documents? That's so the level of I'm not gonna say worry or concern, but the level of attention is completely changed. It's completely shifted. I bought a weed whacker and it solved the problem. It helped me. I use that analogy that I bought a weed whacker because my backyard was, it was a mess, right? It had just been overgrown. What I did was I hired people to go out and clean it. I hired and I don't know if you've ever hired a landscaper, but they're pretty expensive. And if you do it like once a month or every other month, it can really add up. So let's say it's $200. It was actually a little bit more than that, but or I paid him a little bit more than that, but it was actually $200. But check this out: the weed whacker was $70, and it gave me a permanent solution. Now, it didn't give me a permanent solution to the weeds growing because that's going to keep going, but I can do it. You see, I don't have a problem paying someone to do it because I know what an hour of my time is worth. And the last time I did all the weeds, last time I did up my entire yard, it took all day. So it literally took 8 hours. I think, yeah, from morning to night. It actually took 8 hours. Now, let's say that whole entire 8 hours, it cost me $1,000 versus me paying someone 250 to do it. And then I can, so not only do I get the job done, in other words, I get the backyard cleaned up and nice, but I also get a chance to go back and conduct my own income generating activities with my business. My business doesn't suffer. My business doesn't stop. Even if I'm out in the backyard, that's the reason why I really can do. I can go out and trim hedges and garden, and which is what I like to do. But my notary business doesn't stop because it's all automated, and I continue to get clients. I continue to execute assignments because I can always outsource them, and I don't necessarily have to be working in the business. See, that's the difference between a loan signing agent, notary signing agent, and a business owner, a notary business owner. Big difference. It's like night and day. It can't even be compared. Which would you like?